Hi, my name is Kori Ritter, and I'm here to present the Skylight class for you guys today. And we'll be talking about Skylight technique of sketching. And we're going to be talking about the features and benefits of Skylight, how to perform the technique, and also we're going to be getting into a little bit of the color craft application, features and benefits of that as well, so that you can have a little bit extra thing to add to your ticket for your guest. So we'll go ahead and get started talking about Skylight. This is my beautiful model, Lauren, and she is going to be my live model today. So we already have Lauren sectioned off here, so we'll talk about that here in just a second. So we've got our Skylight, which is our hand painting clay lightener that lifts up to 7 levels. The active ingredients in this are going to be kaolin clay and rice flour. Those two ingredients form together to help create an outer shell that's great for hand painting because you don't have to necessarily incubate it to create that lightness on the hair. It also helps perform for great consistency that you're working with your clay lightener. Spreadability is just fantastic with this product, and you can get in there and glide with your fingers or your brushes. We have 2 fantastic brushes that Paul Mitchell has created for us with a little bit of a tapered end, and they're very soft and able to just free flow through the hair nicely. So we have this brush, and then we have the small angled tip brush that's creating a little bit of freehand painting around the face for those tiny little hairs. And also the great tip we have so we can just glide through the hair without having to revert back to our tail comb. So also Paul Mitchell made us this beautiful paddle. It has 2 reservoirs here at the left and right, and so you can create 2 different formulas with your developers if you so choose. For different amounts of varying levels of lightning. And then we have the flat paddle board here that also has an open reservoir here at the end for your tips, so you can just glide through and hand paint to saturate those ends fully. So we'll be using all 3 of these today in this technique of sketching. So what we're going to do first is we're going to work on these bottom panels, but first what I did is we're going to create a wider area from recession to recession, and kind of dip back to low crown, creating a slight V in the back. And we have that all clipped away here at the top, Zulu knotted away. Make sure you're working very clean and very technical when you're doing this. So we've got the 2 side panels, so we start 1 inch away from the center back of the crown where you created that V. And we dip forward to the tip of the ear on each side, and then we Zulu that or clip those away towards the front to get those out of our way. So we'll be working in diagonal forward sections through these, and then we're kind of going to be bricklaying this top, kind of working diagonal back here through the top. The reason we work on those diagonals and create those like scalloped partings and those V-shaped partings is for natural fall, to have that sun-kissed look, because that's what this is all about. So besides that front, so here in the back, we have used our Pro Sticks to Zulu knot those sections out. We have 4 horizontal sections here. So the one starting in the bottom I have unclipped because that's where we're starting. Then we have 2, 3, and 4, kind of creating that V-shaped formation. So we're going to be working horizontally and with little scallops. Scallops just means gentle, U-shaped, soft U-shaped sections. So we're going to start with this side, and we're going to create a soft scallop section here. And sketching is really for making sure that guest has a lot of coverage. So with Lauren, the reason why I chose her to be my model is she has a little bit of new growth here. She has a level 7 new growth, so that's fantastic for starting to work to get her a softness so that she doesn't have a constant line of demarcation when she grows out. So this is going to be great for that. So you're going to include the edges of your section here and really working with the side of that brush. So we're going to dip in, and Sketching just means we're going to create that softness and sketch inside that section. And you can even use your finger to kind of move that product up. And so this is when our paddle comes into play. So we're going to have our paddle in one hand and our brush in the other. And what's great is you can put the product in your paddle here so you don't constantly have to be dipping back in the bowl. And this is just salon reality and the ease of time. So what we can do now is we have lightness on her ends already, so I'm not going to overlap all the way through those porous ends. I'm just going to kind of gently lay that down. Now we're going to start with the other side. So we're going to kind of bricklay these scallop sections here. Dipping into my reservoir. And working on this side of the section first. Creating that V-shaped formation. And then getting into that middle where you're going to just gently sketch. I love this technique because it creates a more natural line and overall coverage. So if somebody wants to be an overall lighter all over, this is a fantastic technique for that. And we're just creating the product at the surface because we don't have any kind of product underneath. What's great though about the rice flour and kaolin clay is it's not going to allow for any transfer onto the other hair because it does create that outer shell. It's a creamy consistency. If you were to put this inside a mesh or a plastic liner or even foil, it is going to stay creamy, so just be aware of that. It's not going to create more of a, if you want a little bit more of that lift, you can maybe incubate that. But we're just staying on the surface of this. If you are dealing with somebody in the sketching technique that's not already blonde and has porous ends, you can go ahead and saturate onto your board like so and just go all the way through and put a little bit of product on your board to create that underneath the surface as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and drop down that second horizontal panel. And we're going to repeat those actions that we just did. Dropping down this other panel, as this panel starts to get wider, you can definitely increase or decrease, your section size if you would like. If you'd like to work in 3 across the head, that's just fine too. Remember to always be aware of what's in the hairline, what's going to show when they have their hair pulled back in a ponytail. The amount of product that you use on your brush is really important because you're going to want to definitely saturate. This is a clay-based product, so the spreadability is just fine. So really lay that product on the hair surface, and then that gives you the ability to really spread that out and get the whole benefit of that beautiful consistency. been working with this product behind the chair since it came out, and I'm just blown away by the results that you can get with this. I have many guests that I've converted from foils to this product because of the natural ability for it to just have no line of demarcation when it grows out. You're taking away those foil lines, really blending with that product. So this has given me great benefits behind the chair as well. I'm going to break this top section into two because she does have a little bit more density up through here in the crown. So I'm just going to use my Pro Stick to get that out of my way. When you're learning these techniques, it's important to really be able to apply this to the guests that you're working with in the chair. So, you know, Lauren, we had to, you know, not saturate through those porous ends, just remembering that every guest is different every time, but, you know, using the same sketching technique to your benefit. The mixing ratio of the skylight is 1 to 1.5. So you're going to use 1 scoop of your skylight to 1.5 or 45 grams. It comes out to 45 cc's of your developer of choice. You can use any cream-based developer that we offer. So depending on the level of lightning that you need to achieve and the energy you need to work with, you can choose your lightener based on that. I dropped down this last little section on the back panels. What I'm using on Lauren today is I'm using a 30 volume cream developer, mixed 1 to 1.5 with my skylight, because I just wanted a little bit more energy up here towards the base. She's got quite a bit of new growth going on, about 1.5 inches of new growth, so I want to work with a little bit more energy, and plus I'm not overlapping those porous ends, so I can use something a little higher. I'm going to be working on the side panels now, taking a diagonal forward sections and sketching. When I get to around the hairline, I'm going to be utilizing my small angled tip brush here and just, you know, grabbing those tiny little hairs there at the front so I can get the best application possible. If you do have little hairs, you can utilize our Olive Pouille Moisture Mist, or you can utilize the Extra Body Finishing Spray just lightly to control those hairs around the hairline. I'm going to be standing behind her to get the most tension possible on these sections. So I'm going to start with my small angled tip brush. I'm going to put a little bit more product in my reservoir over here. Working with my angled brush, I can grab these little hairs around the face. If I stand at about a 45-degree angle behind her, that's able to achieve a little bit more tightness in my panel here. And I'm just going to sketch just softly around her face, always keeping that moving action. That your hand creates the fluidity of the painting. I'm going to place that gently in my bowl and start to sketch the rest of the section with my bigger brush. And again, I can lay that product on the midst of the hair and just slowly move that. Use my Extra Body finishing spray here just to give you a slight control. Those products are only for control, so just be really aware of how much you're using. Okay, so I'm going to start on the other side panel. I just remixed for energy purposes. Just make sure that when you're working a little bit more tedious, that you keep the bowl in mind while your product is sitting there. It can just gently start to just lose its energy just a little bit. So I mixed up another scoop of my Skylight with 1 to 1.5 ratio of my 30 volume cream developer here. And making sure that my sanitary maintenance area, or my SMA, or my working station, etc., is nice and clean and organized. Just looks great for your guest. So I took a second to gently, remove some of the product off of my brushes. So I'm working nice and neat and clean. I'm going to also start to work diagonal forward again on this side, and just repeat what I did on the other side. We're going to be working in the top now, where we set recession to recession. I'm going to be using a bricklay pattern, diagonal back, moving towards the front hairline. When we get to that front hairline, again, we're going to be using our angled brush, and then we're going to be possibly utilizing either our Extra Body finishing spray or our Awakui moisture mist, just to get those little hairs to kind of be controlled so that we don't have any holidays. So we're going to start by working our way on one side. We're going to be flopping back and forth here in that bricklay pattern. So again, using my board, start sketching that section here. And in this top section, you can utilize a little bit of mesh. If you want to separate like that, you can use plastic film, pre-cut sheets. you would like. Okay, I'm going to be using a mesh sheet to separate this, just to demonstrate how you might want to separate the product if you were working with mesh or plastic. So I'm going to go ahead and paint my section. Using my finger to push up that product just a little bit here. That's what I love about this product the most, just it spreads. It's so beautiful. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some mesh here. And what I'm going to do is cradle my section on the board. After I would saturate those ends, but again, Lauren is porous, so we're not going to do so. I would slide those ends gently onto that mesh. And then I am going to apply a mesh just lightly on the top of that section. Okay, we're going to start with the sections right up towards the face. So we're going to be using our angled brush again. And getting a little bit there into that reservoir. And we're going to be working with a nice clean brush, so make sure if you have a towel handy to kind of eliminate if you have any little hair sticking to the brush, etc. Because that can get product where you don't want it. So, working still diagonal back bricklaying sections, we're going to gently work with our angled brush. And sketch those front sections. And if you're working, again, with a couple different formulas, you can separate with mesh, foil, plastic sheets, whatever you choose to put on your color bar. Standing directly behind your guest's head so that you can pull that section taut and really envelop all of those little tiny hairs along the hairline. This is more of a sketching retouch application because that's the application that we used on Lauren the first time. So it's really nice to be able to use this technique, whether it be somebody's first time in your chair or a guest, retouch application. You can still use the same technique and know exactly how you sectioned your panels out so that your retouch application goes really smoothly, and you can see where you place that product in the first application. Okay, so we're all set. We're going to let Lauren process and go ahead and set up our Colorcraft application at the wash house. So we're done processing Lauren's skylight sketching application, and now we're going to come to the wash house. What we did is we shampooed her twice with post-color shampoo. Post-color shampoo is a peroxide scavenger. It uses fennel seed to do so, so it's really important in the process, like the post-process of your color and your blonding applications. So we shampooed her twice with that. Now we're going to start with Colorcraft. Colorcraft is a custom color treatment for your guest. It can be used in the on the back bar for a little bit of extra ticket cost, or you can sell it to your guest for take home. So it's really great to use here, utilize here, and then use it to your guest's advantage to take home with them. You can mix light, moderate, or maximum. Light will be 1 pump so we've got, let me start over. We've got the tube that you can use at the back bar, and then you have the 6.9 ounce that you can sell for take home. Now it's only recommended for your guest take home to do a light to moderate pumps into the treatment. So if you are using it for the back bar, you can do light, moderate, or maximum. Light being 1 pump to 1 tube, moderate being 4 pumps to 1 tube, and maximum being 20 pumps, up to 20 pumps for 1 tube. If you are using a maximum application, which we will not be doing on Lauren today, but it is good to go ahead and utilize a pair of gloves in the sink, because if you're using some of our beautiful colors like paprika or mandarin, it is a direct dye that you're adding into a positively charged base. So you will have a little bit of staining that can happen to your hands. So that's why it's also important to send home with your guest either a light to moderate application inside the custom color treatment, because you don't want any staining in the shower on your guest's hands at home. So for Lauren, because she has a little bit longer hair, we did 2 tubes of the conditioner. And so what we're going to do is we're utilizing Misty Violet and Ash Walnut today. We're going to be doing 4 pumps of the Misty Violet. So we're going to be doing a little bit more of a moderate application. And we're going to be utilizing 4 pumps of our Ash Walnut. What Lauren and I discussed is we're going to, so that's 8 total. What we're going to be wanting is a little bit more of a fall appearance, a little bit more of an ashy fall appearance for her blonde. So we're going to go a little bit more of a deeper fall blonde. So we have 4 pumps of Misty Violet and 4 pumps of Ash Walnut, and we're going to mix that up. Mix it up with a little bit of, with a brush. You can also use a whisk, but I'm going to use this brush to just simply apply around the face, and then I'll put it through the ends with my hands. So this is a great toning option, or it's great for maintenance. And the conditioner, positively charged base, it's a great conditioning treatment for blonde hair because it gives that really great smoothness through the ends. So I towel dried, and now I'm just going to simply apply. As we get to the tail end of our processing, I want to go ahead and explain to you how to create your custom take-home treatment for your guest. So we have the 6.9 ounce take-home treatment. What you're going to do is you're going to mix 1 tube of your direct dye into your positively charged base take-home treatment. And you're going to create this for your guest right in front of them, because at Paul Mitchell it's all about the experience. So just like at the color bar, we're going to mix the color in front of our guest. We want to go ahead and create a customized color treatment for our guest. Many things in these days can be customized. We customize beers, we customize makeup, etc., and so on. So this is a great thing to make our guests feel like it's very personalized to them. So again, 1 tube inside this jar of your custom color treatment take home. And you're going to mix, this comes with a nice little spatula. We're going to mix that product in the positively charged base for your guest, and then send that home with them. And now with Lauren, what I would send home with her is I would do half a tube of the Ash Walnut and half a tube of the Misty Violet, and then go ahead and mix in there. This is going to be a great thing for her to sustain that nice ashy tone at home in the shower. There's about 6 applications if they're washing, if they're going in between about 6 weeks. It just depends on your guest's length of hair and how much they would use. So you need to instruct your guest on how much to use and how often to use it as they take it home, and that's individualized with each guest. So we'll go ahead and give Lauren about another minute, and then we're going to go ahead and rinse and style her out with some beautiful products.